Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do in here is you'll notice when I play this game for the first time, number one, I don't like starting right over this tree, so I'm going to click back on this first person controller, click on scene, kind of scroll out a little bit. That'll show me where he's at, and I can move him around kind of to start in a different area right here. Okay, so that's a little bit nicer. Hit escape. Okay, so now what I want to do is, and I've actually think I already added this on here. So let me actually delete this. I wanna add in what's called a skybox. So if you notice when we play this game, it's kind of just like a blank generic sky up there. I want something that looks a little bit better than just that. So what we're going to do is on this first person controller, I'm going to click on add component and I'm going to type in up here sky, and it should add in the sky box right there. So now we need to find one. So I'm going to go to the asset store and I'm just going to go ahead and type in SKY for sky and hit the search button right here. And we want to search for, in this 2D environment, textures and materials. We can actually delete that search. We can go 2D right here, textures and materials, and then we want to kind of find sky right here. So if I find anything that says 2D textures and materials and then find sky right there, just click that. So that's going to take me home, 2D materials, textures, sky. This is exactly what I want right here. These are all of the different skies. Now, obviously some of these cost money, but you're going to actually find a lot of these for free, and a lot of them come with like different things. So actually, this Starry Night thing kind of looks pretty cool. I'll show you how to do this one, but you can download really any one that you want. So I'm going to download this Star. What is it? Starfield Skybox. So rather than it being day, it's going to kind of be kind of a cool night scene. So kind of download this. Give this a second. It's actually a pretty big size, it looks like. So this might take a second to download. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while this downloads. Alright, so I have downloaded that asset, and so now I'm going to go ahead and click that import button right here to import it, and I can just go ahead and make sure that all these things are checked and hit import, and it should go ahead and import that right there. It'll just take a second to do that. And now that that is almost done. Okay, so I have imported those assets, and if I click on assets, now I see that Starfield Skybox right there. The skybox is actually right there. So I'm going to come back over to my first person controller, scroll down. I added the skybox right there. What I need to do is I need to drag this onto that material so that it loads in that skybox, and then let's come back over here to scene and let's hit the play button right here. Still not showing up. It didn't work because I actually added the skybox to the wrong thing, so I'm gonna come down here, remove the component. What I need to do is I need to come over here to this first person controller, spin it open. You find this first person character right here. This is actually where I want to add in that skybox. So I'll type in skybox, drag that in here, and then drag this material in here. And now you'll see when I play this game, I got like a cool nighttime sky going on up there. So, and it kind of looks like now I'm walking through the moonlight as I kind of walk around this scene, and you can kind of look up into the sky. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool sky that I got going on. Okay, so now that we have the sky taken care of, let's talk about how to create some just very basic assets over here. We're going to start with a cube. So I'm going to right click over here and I'm going to click on 3D object and I'm going to click on cube right here. So this is a cube. In order to resize this, I click on the scale tool and I kind of just drag this up, and you can kind of see it's kind of dragging it up. Now I'm going to click on the move tool right here, and I can move this cube. I'm going to kind of move this cube. I don't know where I'm going to put this thing. I'll kind of put it off to the side over here. Maybe I'll put it like right over here. This will kind of be in this area. Alright, if I wanted to like make this really thin, I can click on this like resize button and kind of make the, change the size of it. You can also rotate the cube right here, so I can rotate the direction of it. So right now, if I play this, let's see if I can see it from where I start. I think I got all these trees kind of in the way here. Let me move it over to where kind of the first person controller is. Looks like the first person controller kind of starts looking that direction. So I'll click on this cube right here. I'm going to move it over to this area right over here. And notice, clicking the middle mouse button, left mouse button to kind of look around. Notice I'm kind of putting it inside of this terrain right there. Alright, so I can kind of see this hit play. Alright, so I think I added that cube over here somewhere. Let's see where it is. Maybe I need to make it bigger too so I can see it a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and scale this thing up right here. We got a giant cube now. That's going to be hard to miss. Yep, there it is. You can kind of see it back there in the background. But it's just kind of a white cube at this point. So what I want to do is I want to add like a material to that or a texture to that. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to go to Google and I'm going to type in, let's just type in, let's see, brick texture. Okay, remember the keyword is texture when we're searching for things. That's going to give us a front-on view of an image, and that's kind of what we want. And I'm going to find just kind of a brick image that I kind of like that looks like it could repeat well. Something probably like this. I don't know. This looks pretty good. Yeah, maybe I like this one better. But I don't like, you can see down there at the bottom, I obviously don't like that. I also want to get a relatively large image. So I'm going to click on size, click on large. That's going to give us a better resolution. It'll end up being a better, a better picture. So anyway, let's just try to find larger than, let's go like really large, 4 megapixels here. Alright, so this looks pretty good. So let's save this image. I'm going to save mine to my desktop. You should probably save yours to your U drive. Then I'm going to come into here, go click back on assets, double click on materials. I'm going to go ahead and go file or assets, and then I'm going to click on import new asset, and I'm going to find that brick. Just kind of drag that in there, okay? And then I'm going to click on my cube right here. And I noticed that I could probably, if I just drag that onto there, now it's going to have like this brick look to it. So I'll go ahead and hit play, and now I kind of see over here there's a giant brick wall. It's not going to look the best. This class isn't a, I teach a 3D animation class where I kind of make these things look a little bit better, and I show kids, but that's not the point of this class. So I'm going to actually move this though so that this object is a little bit closer to where the guy starts. Let's see. I think that's closer to where he starts. Okay, so what I want to show you is as I walk over to this brick kind of wall thing that I've created, this brick cube, I'm going to walk and I'm going to kind of walk right into this thing and right through it. Okay, so I kind of hit that, and that's pretty good actually. Okay, so now that I have that, it looks like in this one, looks like the collider, nice right there. The collider is already applied to this, which is great. So that wasn't like that in previous models, so that's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to shrink this up here. So one of the goals for this maze game is you're going to want to obviously build a maze. Okay, so I'm kind of walking through this forest here. Now you'll notice I kind of got that platform up there. A maze doesn't necessarily have to be like something that you go through you know, right, left, it can be something that you have to, you know, jump on top of. There's a lot of jumping maze games that have been created. So I'm actually going to kind of turn this thing a little bit here. And then I'm going to go ahead and move it. So just kind of messing around with like the shape of this different cube here. You can see now I've almost created like this brick. I can kind of see this brick thing in the background that I'm walking towards. And it's kind of in the earth almost. I'm just going to kind of walk on top of this thing. And you know, this could actually be the start of the maze, having to walk up here and walk on top of things. Now you'll notice I have a few trees in here. If I wanted to get rid of these trees, let me kind of zoom in with my mouse. Okay, I'm going to click over here on terrain. And I'm going to click on this tree. It says control click to erase any tree. So if I hold down control and I kind of click, it's just going to kind of clear out this area. Which I kind of want. I kind of want a clear path to this area. Now, because I've already created this cube, I can drag. I don't need my first person. I can go ahead and drag another cube in here, actually. Or I can right click on this and I can click duplicate. That's actually what I want to do. Drag the new thing in there. Now that I have cube 1, I can click on the scale and I can scale cube 1, kind of rotate it around. It might actually start in the same spot, but you'll see that I actually have this second cube right here. And then let me actually scale this down, kind of like this. Okay, I think you'll see what I'm going to do here in a second. Let me kind of move over here. I'm going to zoom in, move this thing kind of like right there. Let's kind of scale this guy down just like that. Scale this up. And what I want to do is I kind of want to create something that this guy has to jump onto. So I'm going to move that down just slightly, just kind of over slightly. So now I'm going to go ahead and press play. And you'll notice now I've removed those trees from my brick, I don't know what you call this, my brick ramp, I guess, that I'm going to walk up onto. And then I'm going to kind of run up this ramp. And I see I got kind of something right there. So I can hit the space button and jump onto this right here now. So obviously if I didn't hit the space button, I'd just fall down. And this is obviously something that's too tall for me to jump onto. So I have one thing to be able to get there. So let's say I wanted like, you'll notice, by the way, notice the texture kind of gets weird on some of these surfaces as we scale them down. We're not making a perfect game, so that's just going to happen. But you'll notice I can kind of jump onto here. So now let's go ahead and make something else for this guy to try to jump onto. Let's maybe make like, I'm going to create another cube. So I'm going to create a 3D object here. Let's actually create, rather than creating a cube, I'm going to go ahead and create a, I'll create a cube for this next one too. Let's click the resize button. Let's kind of make this bigger. Come over here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Bring this up right here. Sometimes it's hard to see where these assets are unless you zoom out. Alright, so I kind of got this guy right here, and I'm actually going to apply something a little bit different to this. This is going to be a, I'm going to make this like a building kind of off here in the background. So I'm going to, let's delete brick texture and let's type in like building texture, and that'll give us like the side of a building. So this will be what you kind of see on the side. So I actually kind of notice though the white up on top there, that's actually going to be kind of hard for this. It's not going to give you a great look, but I think it might be because I got this larger than any size. If I click on any size, I might get some better images here. Yeah, I am. Alright, so let's kind of make this like a, I don't know, like, this is kind of like a, again, you're looking at this image, you see kind of that bottom, that doesn't look great. Um, Here we go. Here's something that might work. So let's save this image right here. I'm going to save mine to my desktop. Again, you want to be saving yours to your U drive. And now I'm going to go to Assets, Import New Asset, find that image that I downloaded. And I want to put this in my Materials folder, so I'm going to drag this over to that Materials folder. Drag it in there. Let's click on that cube 2, and if I wanted I can rename this. I'm going to rename this thing like building. And this one, this is my ramp right here, so I'm gonna rename these things so that I remember what they are, and this is like small brick cube. I don't know. Just rename it something that I remember. Now that I have this thing, I'm gonna go to in my materials here. I'm going to drag this onto the building, and I can kind of see. Now, obviously, the top of this looks terrible. It doesn't look like the real top of something, but the sides actually look all right. Okay, so like if I'm kind of running towards this, it kind of looks like a building as I'm kind of looking at it. But it might be a little bit small for that, so what I can do is I can click on this building right here. I can kind of resize this thing, make this thing a little bit bigger, also make it so that the image actually looks like it fits on there. And then let's go ahead and bring this thing up. And then I might have to remove some trees around here, so I can just click on the terrain. Let's click on the trees right there, hold down the control key, and I can just kind of remove some trees from around here. Now one thing that you might want to do is we might want to like replace the top of like the look of this. The way that the material is on here, it just applies it flat to every single surface. But we can change, like we did with the background, you can change the size of this. So if I made it like 10 by 10 by 10, this actually might make the image look a little bit better. Oh, whoops. Let me actually, I changed that in the wrong size right here. My size is going to be right in here. You can change like the size right in here. The smoothness also might make it look a little bit better. We can tilt this thing like, watch this, 6 by 6. See how like I went crazy? Or I can go like 0.5 and 0.5. Maybe 1 and 1 is the best for this one, but you can kind of mess around with stuff on here. Feel free to kind of look at this. What I would do though is I would take this like small brick, duplicate that, and then I'm going to rename this thing. Rename it roof. Okay, and then I can go ahead and move this on top of the building. Okay, rotate this thing around, and then I can resize it so that it kind of fits. Fits, you know, the size of the building here. So obviously I'm going to want to move this in here. I might need to rotate this around, but you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm going to make the roof of this thing. Click on the scale, kind of scale that down, and maybe I need to rotate this thing on this axis just a little bit, and that'll kind of make this not look as bad necessarily. So if you ever viewed it from the top, so kind of has a brick top on there. But anyway, so now I have created I've created a few assets on here. You can kind of see. Let me get through this forest here. Forest is kind of thick actually. Let me hit the escape button here. So you can kind of see I have this game, and yeah, I've created a few assets. So you want to create a few assets for your game. I think the minimum is going to be 12, but it's going to be 12 for all three levels. We haven't talked about how to create the different levels yet, but you want to have a minimum of 12 different assets for all the levels. So hopefully you found this interesting and helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.